Amp Live, what's up? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Good to meet you.
Same. So I know you're based out of California. So how's life been with you lately over there?
Um, you know, it's definitely been an interesting year, and I guess at this point you could say year and 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I mean, for a artist and a music producer, being trapped inside is not necessarily a bad thing. I
Hmm.
mean, when you're just talking about that just within itself. So I definitely have had a productive year, been able to do, a lot more music than planned, and really get creative. So I guess overall it's been cool.
Have you been creative with any other activities besides music?
Uh yeah. I mean, definitely have been working out more, bought a bike, been riding my bike,
Oh, nice.
catching up on housework. Definitely have caught up on a lot of movies and TV shows that I slipped on. I mean,
Okay.
some of them I'm kind of embarrassed to say I didn't watch. So now I'm getting caught up, and yeah,
Do you want to share
I'm
some
getting
of
caught up.
what are those shows?
Well, one of them's The Sopranos.
Okay.
So, the thing was, I watched season one, but after that, I think we are just touring a lot at that time. So I was just like, I don't have time, and I know it's such a good series that I want to be able to like watch it all the way through.
Oh yeah.
So I've been binge watching it and catching up. It's kind of weird too because that show had so much impact that now it's kind of not as groundbreaking because you
Oh
see
yeah.
everything that was borrowed from it. So you're
Yeah.
like, okay, you know. So been watching that. I watched Breaking Bad. I never watched
Okay.
that one. So I don't know. It's been fun and interesting.
So did you finish Breaking Bad? Because
Yeah,
I
I
don't
finished
mind.
Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did
And
you did you watch Breaking Bad?
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about Breaking Bad, it's like there were episodes at time when like everything was slow, like and there was like
Yeah,
multiple episodes, and then every you just wait for that one moment, like the whole episode could be like completely slow, but just that 1 minute, there's something that instantly something
yeah,
just changes, and you wait for that moment with Breaking Bad.
yeah. The setup was good, man. They really set a bunch of characters up in a way that was really phenomenal. Like you really, at one point I wanted him to lose because he was so many
Oh
and
yeah.
just so sporadic, and it's like you're an idiot.
Mm.
And then on other times you're like, okay, you kind of felt things, and then like Jesse's character was really done well. It was a great show, and I don't know why I didn't watch it when it came out. I think it was just maybe the way it's presented just didn't seem as interesting,
Yeah.
but it was definitely well done. And I even watched the movie. The movie was, movie was cool, but definitely TV series is better.
Well, did you ever get into the spin-off with I think it's called Better Call Saul?
Yeah, a little bit. It was
Oh,
alright.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of tuned out when I saw them starting to bring in characters from Breaking Bad. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, you know, why is it good though?
I like it. Obviously, it's based on the lawyer Saul, but
The
you
lawyer.
kind of like, I mean, in the Breaking Bad show, he's kind of like, you can tell he's sort of a bad guy, which he appears to be in the show,
Yeah,
but you kind of find like more of his backstory, and he's actually a really good guy. He just goes through
yeah,
like such different experiences that lead him to the moment where he is in Breaking Bad, and it comes to a point you're kind of feeling bad for him because it shows shots of him after when he, like, kinda had to disappear himself, so it
yeah.
shows
That's how
his,
it
like
starts.
yeah,
Yeah,
and but then it goes, like, backstory of, like, everything before Breaking Bad, and you really sympathize with the guy.
yeah. I might have to get to it. There's so much good stuff that's popping up, so it's like I'm watching the Michael Jordan story.
Okay.
Um, I haven't seen The Social Dilemma yet. I want to
Mhm.
watch that. Yeah, it's a couple of things I need to get through before I loop back.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, with your music, though, you mentioned that about you being really productive, last year, and you came out with an interesting album with the Make the Beat Go, which is volume 1. So do you
Yeah.
mind explaining what's the concept of that volume series?
Well, I mean, basically, I started doing performances on my Instagram where I was just making music up
Mhm.
on my controllers, and everybody was like, "Yo, I want to hear that beat over and over again."
Yeah.
So after a while, I was like, "Okay, I'll just put out like a album of the beats I've been doing." So that's all it is. It's kind of just like demo beats of the tracks I've been doing on Instagram. I have another one about to come out too, so it'll be just volume two. I'll probably maybe do like another one, maybe a volume three. But I'm starting to do more serious releases now. Also,
Well, you mentioned that I guess it originated from you posting those videos, so what made you wanna start posting videos of you performing those
oh,
beats?
well, that's kind of always been my thing. Like even when I was doing Zion Unified Highway, anytime I'm on stage, I'm always like playing stuff live and also DJing and stuff. So you know, I figured I'd do it on Instagram too, on TikTok. So it's kind of one of those things where I just like doing it and it's entertaining. So why not just post it?
Are there any musicians out there that you would really like to make beats for?
Oh, I mean, yeah, man. There's so many. Um, so many artists out there. I mean, I just kind of at this point, I just kind of work with the homies,
Mhm.
like people that I just know and we just have good vibes going. But yeah, I mean, I can't even name. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to me, it's more just like at this point, since music is just like it's so open. It's just like if there's a good vibe and a good repertoire, then I would love, I would want to work with you. But in terms of like wish list,
Yeah.
like, if I had a dream,
Yeah.
like that type of thing,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, definitely like a Sade, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, that type of thing. Uh, Everything with the girl. I love that singer. I would love to have been in like a Parliament Funkadelic studio sessions. I wouldn't want to make beats, but I just want to sit there and just
Yeah.
watch the process of them making some of those songs. I would have loved to have been in like one of the Beatles sessions when they first started using the 4 track, just to see like the expressions on their faces and stuff when they're doing all this cool stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I could have been like, man, if you only knew the future.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, since we were talking about making beats, I mean, this since you do this, being a DJ, what got you interested in doing that as a career?
Being a music producer or performing.
Music producing, I know I mean, especially with you in doing a lot of beats, so what made you really interested in beat making?
Kind of, I started producing when I was in college, and it was one of those things where I grew up playing the drums. I took piano lessons, so I kind of had music in me. Then I was also like really creative. So when I got to college, I was meeting rappers and other people who did music, and we just all started hanging out and just started doing it. I had a EPS a Sonic
Mhm.
sampler, and I brought that with me to my dorm room, and we just started making beats, and from there, stuff started getting better. I eventually got signed to Tommy Boy Records, probably like my third year in college. So at that time, De La Soul, Naughty by Nature, uh, Coolio, a couple other people were on Tommy Boy. Stayed on the label for a couple years. I was able to work in the studio with like Dallas Austin and Madonna and like a whole bunch of different people. Just get experience of being in the studio making songs.
Yeah.
Eventually, we got dropped off the label because we didn't come out with anything that they could use.
Mm.
And I moved out to California in the early 2000s. And, California is entertainment capital of the world. So, I mean, mostly LA and the Bay. But, I was able to put out music independently and just learn and create a fan base and grew from there.
Cool. And I mean, you work with a lot of great names, and one person that I saw that you were collaborating with, I guess, a couple of albums because you made a remix to one album, is you worked with Del the Funky Homo Sapien for Gate 13. So, how did that project come about?
Well, actually, I did a remix album for Radiohead for their In Rainbows
Okay.
album that they dropped, and I got Dell on one of the songs, and that song was actually the biggest song off that remix album.
Oh,
And so
nice.
we kind of started a relationship there, and he actually got on a couple of Zion I songs too. So he was from the Bay Area. The Bay Area is small but very big in terms of its voice and its outreach. So there are a lot of performers there who travel and actually tour, but that's our home base. So we all knew who we were, and we just have always vibed. And honestly, most of the stuff we vibed about was just music programs and like different controllers and stuff because he was into the same thing I was into. So, it was like, yo, let's do a song here, let's do a song here. And eventually it turned into let's just do an album. Like he had a time period where he had a lot of time. I had a time period where I had a lot of time. And yeah, it just the stars aligned. So we just created the album within like a month, actually.
Are you two maybe gonna work on any collaboration music sometime in the future as well?
I mean, that would be awesome to do another one.
Mhm.
I think that that's always a possibility. I mean, we're all still friends, so it's like we kind of just have to have the I guess that window open again, that
Yeah,
window of opportunity.
yeah. And another project that you have a couple of albums out, you work with Eric Rachmani from Revolution. You have a group together called Unified Highway. So, how
Yeah.
did that project come about in you two forming that group?
That was something else that formed in an organic type of way also. When I was in Zion I, we toured Revolution, and we did about 5 or 6 tours with them actually. And I did a remix for him for a song called Safe and Sound. And the remix did really well. He actually used some of the remix elements in like the main version when they performed it. So I think he started to really respect me as a producer. And we were all friends. Like we toured, just had a blast. You know, we were touring when it was like Revolution scaled down. So it's like we really have been involved with them uh, since their evolution. So it's a real friendship. And whenever we go on tour, I would just always do music with Eric. Like we just always make stuff together. A lot of it it would never come out. We just made stuff.
Mhm.
And again, it was just one of those things where we had a window of opportunity. I was like, dude, let's just do an album. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And we did the first Unified Highway album really quickly. It got a really good response. So we're like, man, we might have something here, So it's just something that started, and it's kind of like him having a different voice and like a different point of view. He has a different way of expressing himself going
Yeah.
through Unified Highway, and for me, I'm able to kind of flex on my reggae producing skills and
Mhm.
just do different types of stuff. So it's a real fun thing.
How did you come up with the name Unified Highway?
That is actually something that the manager came up with. Um, and if you think about it, it's kind of like going the same direction, and we're both unified in thought and vibe. But overall, it's kind of it's just kind of like a really simple name.
Okay. I've seen on YouTube that of live performances between you two, and I've listened to the albums, and you've done a couple of remixes of a few popular songs. One of them is REM, and I've heard that they have actually made a big impact on your music. So how's that so?
They were just a cool art rock group that I was listening to in college. Honestly, I went to college in Atlanta, so they were in I think Macon
Hmm.
at Georgia Tech or something like that. That's where they were based at. So yeah, they just had really cool songs. Some of the songs are always stuck in my head, and I just woke up one day. I was like, oh man, that might be a tight remix to that song that we could do.
Mm.
And Eric was a fan of theirs, so it was kind of like, um, yeah, let's do it. We tried it. It sounded great, and we just kept it. The Leah song was Eric's. That was his thought. He was
Okay.
just like, He's like, "Man, I love that song. You should do a remix of it." I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it." Um, so we actually did that way before the second album.
Okay.
We just kept it. We were performing it, and yeah, we just kind of kept it.
What are some really popular songs that you would like to remix for?
Uh, um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of do them. Like now, you can just remix stuff, you know.
Mhm.
So I definitely want to. I have this concept of doing like old '70s, actually not old '70s, but '70s, '80s, and '90s like songs, like kind of like soul songs. I want to do like reggae mixes of them. I'm gonna call it like
Okay.
reggae tronics.
Okay.
Reggae tronics is gonna be like the overall thing. So that should be coming out soon. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like at this point, it's not like a wish list. You just kind of do it.
So I'm not familiar with reggae tronics. Is that a term you made or is it
Yeah, it's a term I made up.
Oh, okay. Do you wanna explain, like, about reggae tronics and what's that about? Or what can we expect from that?
Just reggae and electronic music mixed, I guess.
Mhm.
Just the blend, my particular blend of it. I mean, you know, you have people like Diplo and a couple of other producers who have been doing it in their style, which is a little bit more EDM based. So, you know, I'm just going to do it in my own way, also. And I mean, when you listen to like Unified Highway and some of the other stuff I've done, you can hear the different blends that I try
Okay.
to incorporate.
Awesome. And you came out with a music video last year, so are you working on any more visuals maybe this year or coming up?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to do a bunch of releases. So yeah, just gotta buckle down and get it done. But yeah, definitely trying to do videos and all types of stuff this year.
And I've heard you mention before that you used to be pretty more involved with the visuals, but now you kinda let, I guess, the director or someone to get more involved with handling it. So are you still is that the same process just or what really changed from you letting other people handle more of the visuals?
Uh yeah, I mean, you know, it's all a art. And it's kind of like you know, you meet people who are like, yeah, I mix, I master, I do covers, I do all that. And it's kind of like, you know, a doer of all, master of none scenario. Like
Mhm.
all those different things requires a very precise skill set to carry them out, you know, in like in a big way. So for me, even though I could do my own visuals, having somebody else's perspective that's professional and can do a really good job, you know, you have to kind of trust the process with them and
Yeah.
let them add to what you're doing, you know. So it's a lot of good directors out there, a lot of good editors. So you just have to find ones that match your vibe, you know.
Mhm.
And to me, you know, I'll continue to do my own videos also, but I definitely want to work with bigger directors and bigger editors and bigger designers and stuff who are artists like me.
I don't know if you really have done a lot of DIY stuff due to COVID where people are just teaching themselves other skills, but involved with your music, have you really been trying to teach yourself other skills or really just to sharpen and focus on your own skills that you have now?
Both. I mean, man, there's always stuff to learn, especially with how digital music is now. So it's like I'm always trying to learn different programs, different plugins, and yeah, you know, I um I play a little bit of piano, so you know, I always try to play every once in a while. Um, yeah, you know, it's just so much to get involved with, especially on the visual side too. It's just you know, it's an ongoing process.
You mentioned that you play the piano, and I think I've heard you mention before that your parents are also musicians or they play music as
My
well.
dad,
Okay, so
yeah, my dad plays piano. He plays like jazz and gospel music. So he did it on the side, but I grew up just hearing him play all the time, and he comes from a family of piano players. So you know, I would hear them play all the time.
okay. And I've heard you mention before that you kind of grew up or you really liked dance hall music too growing up. So who are some of your favorite dance hall artists?
Oh man, just all the old school greats from like Benny Man to like, I mean, Yellow Man, Eka Mouse, just all, yeah, just all those guys, you know. I really, I kind of grew up listening to dancehall and less reggae. And
Mhm.
then as I got older, I started listening to more reggae and more traditional stuff, you know. So it's kind of like a combination.
I'm a big Beanie Man fan as well. Do you mind if I ask, like, what are some of your favorite songs from him? I'm still trying to go through a lot of his music.
Uh, Really, the stuff from like the 90s, like the Who Am I's and all that stuff, the
Oh, yeah.
club stuff. You know, I mean, I just liked how he was like a Busta Rhymes for
Oh, yeah.
on the way. So yeah, I just kind of I liked how his voice, and I liked Supercat also a lot. Um, you know, and to me, it's more just like how their vocals hit the beat and stuff.
Yeah.
Just sounded cool,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. But they're all kind of saying the same thing in a way. I mean, Buju Banton is another one, of course.
Yeah.
You know, so
A lot of dance hall music videos, they're always, like, a lot at the nightclub or dancing. For some reason, they have the most funnest music videos.
yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's a lot at this point. A lot has been borrowed from those artists.
Yeah.
Um, I think you know, a lot has been borrowed from hip hop too. But like, I think with the style and like some of the wild approach that a lot of those guys have taken,
Uh-huh.
it's definitely been entertaining. I think like
Yeah.
that energy and stuff, people have applied it in different ways to their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's been very, it's been some really crazy visuals.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you look at, I think who's used them probably the most is like a Diplo. You know, like when he does his
Oh, yeah.
Major Laser tours and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
some of those dancers are crazy. MIA. You know, I don't know if they were more dance hall, but like there's definitely like Jamaican influence
Oh,
rhythms
yeah.
and stuff they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think people probably won't realize it till they really get into dancehall, but a lot of popular pop songs too can be really rooted back to a lot of dancehall music. One being listen to a lot of dancehall music. I'll listen to just a regular pop song, like a Justin Bieber song, and you're like, this is dancehall right here.
No, that's true. I think it, you know, within the past definitely 6 or 7 years, it's been really big, you know, and I think it's one of those things where I don't think it's going away. It'll just probably
Oh yeah.
resurge in different forms, you
Hmm.
know. But it's, you know, I mean, I was just listening to radio the other day, and I like a Destiny's Child song came on, and it was like a reggae rhythm, you
Okay.
know, from back in the earlier millennium. And then when I think about even '90s hip hop, it was like a lot of reggae influence and some of
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like you listen to like old Queen Latifah stuff and like,
Okay.
you know, even Busta Rhymes stuff and all, because it's, you know, it's the East Coast
Yeah.
and there's a lot of like uh Caribbean influence in the music there. So
Yeah, I mean, I just mentioned it. One music video I've always have it on repeat. It's Beanie Man and Maya. I think I want to call it "Dem Sugar" or something like that. But yeah, that's one music video it always pops up on my YouTube.
yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah,
I didn't like some of those, but yeah, yeah, he was like, yeah, he became like the go to reggae dude.
yeah, yeah. He was like the face of like dancehall and stuff. But
Yeah.
you mentioned about like touring with Zion I, and I'm curious of you, being formerly with Zion I. So how did you and Zuby come together to form that group?
We met in college, you know. So I went to Morehouse College, and that's a historically black college in Atlanta, Georgia. So because it, you know, it's one of the most prestigious ones, you get people from all over the world who go there.
Hmm.
I'm originally from Texas, so you know when I was there, I was meeting people from California, New York, DC, Chicago, Alabama, the UK. There's a lot of exposure to me. So
Yeah.
he kind of him and his friends were from New York, and I mean from California, like New York, those type of places. So
Mhm.
we really had like a kind of like an instant partnership because we all came from different places. And I think like that because we were also in a group together. That's who I was in a group with when we were signed to Tommy Boy, and there was two other guys, and we were all from different areas.
Mhm.
So I think that melting pot just made things really interesting, and we kind of just formed a camaraderie, just right from the start. So when the group broke up, we stayed together, and that's when we formed Zion I.
And I mean, I've gone through Zion I's music as well, and you guys have a lot of music and albums out. Do you have any favorite songs under Zion I?
Oh man, yeah, we got like 8 albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just matters.
Yeah.
It matters what you're talking about,
Mhm.
and what time period. I mean, is there any particular off of any particular album?
Do you have a favorite album out of all the catalog?
I mean, I would say probably because the thing is, you have like favorite album in terms of fan response, and you
Uh-huh.
have favorite album in terms of process, and then you just
Okay.
have favorite album in terms of like how it sounds. Our favorite song, excuse me. So for me, when I look at those different categories, like
Mhm.
definitely, I would say like in terms of really just overall favorite song,
Yeah.
I would probably say maybe like Finger Paint. That
Okay.
was off of our second album. Um, that song went through like five different versions before it came to be what it was.
Mhm.
And at that time, I was experimenting with a lot of rock music and like um, System of a Down just hit with the Toxicity album, and I drove that album in the ground as much as I was listening to it and stuff. So it's like
Mhm.
I was kind of experimenting a lot and combining a
Okay.
lot of different stuff. Um, so that overall, I would have to say was is my favorite. When you look at like when you combine fan response, how we made it, and how it sounds, I think that one holds all those elements really high. But there are definitely other songs in certain areas that I like more. I think Finger Paint kind of combined them all.
How about your catalog under Unified Highway? Do you have any songs that you favor the most out of that catalog?
Oh man, yeah. I like it. I like headlines a lot,
Okay.
um, and I like it because it came together in a very, uh, in a very like natural way. The story of
Mhm.
it, because
Okay.
I gave that track to Eric probably a year before he used it.
Uh-huh.
And when I first gave it, I liked that beat a lot. And when I sent it to him, he didn't respond. I was like,
Mhm.
that man, I'm so upset about that. Then a year later, when we're making the music, I played. He's like, "What is this?" I was kind of like, "Dude, I gave you this beat and you didn't respond." He's like, "I never heard this." And then serious. So he's like, "Oh man, I don't even think I got that text." You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? So it's just I don't know. So then he got on it, and within like an hour, it was just like he had the song written. It's pretty crazy.
oh, man. Well, since it's still early in the year, are you working on any new projects or new music coming up?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm doing a lot of my stuff. Um, I have an album with this female rapper named Reverie. We
Mhm.
have a project. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. Some stuff I can't really talk about right now, but
Okay.
it's like definitely got some cool stuff that I'm gonna be coming out with.
What do you hope to accomplish with all your music in maybe 5 or 10 years?
I mean, just expand my brand and just keep on moving. I mean, the way things are set up now, it's just bigger than music. It's like you have music, but then also you have merch. You maybe have classes that you do. You have like other types of things you're involved with that kind of deal with your brand and stuff. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of like it's one of those things where I just want to have my brand bigger,
Mhm.
so I can just reach more people and do what I do. You know.
Cool. Well, since we're wrapping up, is there anything you would like to share with our listeners?
Um, just man, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Definitely stay up with me on social media. Just everything is Amp Live or Amp Live's world, and look out for more music.
Awesome. And I'm going to put all the links to your information in the show notes so people can just go directly to those links to whatever social media platform that they use. But appreciate this from the bottom of my heart. But Imp Live, thank you so much for joining us in Irie Chat and best of luck on everything.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.